As alluded to by some of those, headlines I shared, just a minute ago, leaders often possess divergent views on remote and hybrid work, which is complicating companies' return to office plans. On the one hand, there remains a segment of leaders that are resistant to the idea of any remote and hybrid work, and so really are pushing for full-scale return to the office. On the other hand, there's leaders that are very supportive or might be considered proponents of remote work, and in fact are hesitant to come back into the office themselves. And so, which is making it difficult for companies to kind of compel employees to come back if they're not seeing their leaders or managers modeling the same behaviors. So far, companies have adopted a couple, solutions to these efforts, really to try to get leaders more on board. The first is that many companies are trying to leverage data really to convince leaders and to get their buy-in. One company, for example, shared that they did a pilot of a new hybrid work arrangement and were able to show that more time on site was actually positively correlated with key performance metrics, employee engagement, net promoter score, and even kind of profit in sales. This type of data is viewed as really compelling in terms of making a strong argument to leaders about the importance of, return to the office. The challenge is that often this data is not, readily available or easily accessed. So many companies are also trying to kind of look externally and benchmark what competitors are doing. For example, looking at other companies in their industry, what are their return to the office or future work plans, as a way to kind of see how the company's practices compare and what that may mean in terms of competitively recruiting talent or retaining talent. Second, we're seeing companies trying to engage leaders to help architect the agenda for the future of work. The idea here is really to get their input and buy-in early into the process rather than waiting to the implementation stage. And these efforts seem to be most effective really when they've been facilitated by members of the top management team. In other words, other senior leaders leading these discussions, getting their input and buy-in, rather than it being initiated by the HR leadership. And a final approach that some companies have taken is to really give leaders more autonomy in deciding where, when, and how their teams get their work done. That is, rather than forcing all leaders to conform to a common model or approach, they're allowing leaders to decide what works best for their team and to engage in a negotiated process with their followers. And this approach seems to be highly effective when there is significant variability in obligations and needs across different roles and functions. It allows for more kind of customized work arrangements that really fit the needs of different work groups or individuals. I saw one question come in, which is, will the slides be shared? Yes, we'll be sharing these slides out with you after today's session, along with a recording of this webinar. So we really encourage you to further share it with any colleagues or team members who might be interested in this topic as well. Please do submit other questions or thoughts that you have. Would love to see those as we continue on.